I was listening to one content on YouTube recently, and this person said something like, a simple grammatical error in your email to a potential investor or a potential person you want to make a deal with can actually help them decide whether to do that deal with you or not. Because if you can't do a simple proofread of a simple email that is less than a quarter of a page, how are they so sure you'll be paying attention to what matters in the deal? So proofread your emails, make sure you check it for grammatical error. Hello, welcome. This is Bukola. I'm a career mentor and inspirational speaker, and I'm a Big 4 audit manager here in the UK. In this video, I'll be talking to you about some quick tips you need to learn when writing work emails. And maybe somewhere in this video, you would see something that you're already doing that you need to enhance, or you are not doing at all, or you need to start doing when it comes to your work emails. Your work emails are so strategic because they are essential. They are basically a driver for how you position yourself and how you present yourself to the world outside there. So they are quite key when it comes to everything that you're doing when it comes to work. And you should be doing them right. There's no reason why you shouldn't be doing your work emails right. So I've got some quick tips for you that can help you enhance how you strategically use your emails to position yourself to be perceived well at work. Now, the first thing I want to start with here is how clear and concise your emails should be at every single time. Now, your emails do not need to be wordy, too verbose. You need to know what you want from your emails, and you need to be very clear with them, especially with the subject of your emails. So what do you want? Every single time you want to write out an email, the first question you want to ask yourself is, what do I want to get achieved by writing this email? That's the first question. What do I want them to do? Whatever it is you want them to do is your subject. So get into that rhythm of writing in the subject what you want from them. So for instance, you need an approval. That word approval should be in the subject of your email. Okay, so it's quite key that you do that. Don't make it ambiguous, generic, such that whoever sees your mail, they don't know exactly what to do with your email. And don't forget that a lot of people don't even open their emails. Like, they are so busy, they don't open their emails. The only thing that will make them open the email is your hook. So your subject is your hook. It can be, you can use words like urgent, quick, needed. Some people even go as far as putting apostrophe just to make sure they catch the attention of whoever they're sending the emails to. So your subject is so key, Another thing I need you to pay attention to is the person that you are sending the email to. Check the email address before sending. Now, in my own line of work, I work with multiple clients on multiple projects, and I work with different people internally from across different teams. Now, people bear the same names. There is John Stewart, there is Bukola, there is another Bukola Oluwade, there is another Oluwade Ore. So check the email addresses before sending, especially from a confidentiality perspective. Check and check and check again. Make sure that you're sending the emails to the right people. You don't want to be caught in a situation where you're sending out a confidential document to the wrong person. Or if you work with multiple clients, you are not sending the information of a particular client to another client. That will not be looking good at all. So you need to pay attention to that. Another thing I want you to think about is have a structure for your emails, right? Rather than writing emails in long paragraphs, people just want to skim through most of the time. So rather than writing emails in long paragraphs, one sentence, one paragraph, one sentence, one paragraph. It makes it easily skimmable, easily readable. And if there are things that you want people to do, there are information that you think is quite key for the people reading the emails to get, you can highlight them in bold or put them in italics so that by the time they see it, those can catch their attention almost immediately. Okay, so find a structure for your emails. I will say one sentence, one paragraph, except of course you're writing a long paper. If you're not writing a long paper, it's just a quick email to get people to do something that you want, or you want to share some thoughts and ideas. One sentence, one paragraph. The next thing I would say, which is quite simple, but a lot of people don't do it, is I need you to be proofreading your emails sometimes. Like, I was listening to someone, I can't really remember who the person is, but I was listening to one content on YouTube recently, and this person said something like, a simple grammatical error in your email to a potential investor or a potential person you want to make a deal with can actually help them decide whether to do that deal with you or not. Because if you can't do a simple proofread of a simple email that is less than a quarter of a page, how are they so sure you'll be paying attention to what matters in the deal? Okay, so proofread your emails. Make sure you check it for grammatical errors. Now, this is the day and age of AI. So if you are using like Gmail, for instance, you'll probably have Gemini. If you're using Microsoft, the Microsoft suite, you probably have Copilot. Use them to rewrite some of your emails to check for some grammatical errors that may be in your email or whatever. Just use them. Use AI to help you do the proofread. Another AI tool that is very good is Grammarly. I use Grammarly for my writings on LinkedIn. I use Grammarly for whatever my personal emails, and I just make sure that I am I'm just checking again in terms of like the sentences, making sure they're properly constructed, and I have full stops where full stops should be and the rest. So just pay attention to that. Another thing I would say about proofreading is the tone of your mail is so key. The tone of your mail is key. Make sure that it is professional enough for the other person, for the person that will be receiving it. Because sometimes if you write the way you're thinking, you may come off as very direct, very brute, very assertive, and in some situations you don't want to come off as that. You may want to come off more professional and warm. So another thing you can do, especially when you're using some of these suits, is to use like Gemini or Copilot to help you do a rewrite of that email to make it more professional or warmer. I typically, when I write emails, I can be very straight to the point, direct and all of that, and I don't want it to appear as though I don't have courtesy, or I'm using, instead of me using words like should, I'm using words like must. So I will tell Copilot or I'll tell Gemini to help me rewrite it in a warm and professional way without losing the essence of the message. So I need you to pay attention to that. The next thing I'm going to say to you is think deeply before replying all. A lot of people over the course of my career, I've seen it many times, when an email gets sent to the whole staff, or it gets sent to a whole business unit, or it gets sent to many people, but you want to forward that email to probably your own team to take action, and instead of just forwarding it to your own team, you click reply all, and then you're talking to your team. So make sure that you're checking that reply all. You don't, and obviously I expect that you'll be professional at all times, but at the same time you don't want to get caught up in situations where you are replying all to a message you shouldn't be replying all to. So check the people who are in the emails before replying all. Another thing I'll say to you is be careful with your BCC, or the people you blind copy. Be careful with it. I know there are some situations where you're sending something to someone and you want to blind copy another person. Personally, I don't like the idea of blind copying people, because for different, you know, it is different for different situations. But in a professional setting, I personally don't like to blind copy people. If I really think someone is a stakeholder in a conversation, I really like to copy them from the very start. So be careful when you blind copy people, and then probably just because sometimes you can blind copy someone and then the person in responding back may think somebody else needs to be involved, like especially if you don't have that communication with the person you're blind copying to let them know you are just blind copying them. You just need to be careful around that for the sake of transparency. Another thing I need you to understand is that there are some emails that are better done in person. Okay, there are some emails that are better done in person. And this is what I mean. Do you absolutely need to send that email, especially if it looks like there's a bit of back and forth? Is it an email situation, or should you be asking them for a call instead? The reason is because the email is not just a way of communicating. It is, like I said at the very beginning, a strategic tool for how you are perceived. So you need to use it right. So if you're in a situation where there's a bit of back and forth between you and other staff members, the best thing for you to do is to ask for a quick call. It may just be the case where there is a misunderstanding somewhere. Don't also forget that an email can be a documentary evidence for anything. So you don't want to fall into a situation where your own words are used against you. So if it's looking like things are not playing well in your court, make sure that you're asking people for a meeting instead of exchanging emails. Another thing I'll tell you is this: being microaggressive on emails is not great. I know quite a number of us, sometimes we do it to get people to act, but you should minimize it to the large extent, if not eliminate it. Things like, oh, per my last email, or just sort of establishing the fact that you've said something over and over again and it looks like the other person isn't getting it. Again, in that kind of situation, it may be more meaningful, and it is okay for you to actually refer them back to something before, but just be careful of the words. And again, you can also use AI to help you reword some of these things so you don't come off as someone who is rude to people or who disrespects people. So I need you to pay attention to all of that. Okay, now another thing beyond just your typing up an email and sending an email is sometimes you want to be very clear as to what your stakeholders want to get out of a communication. So for instance, you want to send out an email to another team that is based in probably another region. You may want to have a first conversation with your boss to just get out of from them. Maybe probably show them. Now, let me share this with you. Just last week, this is how I roll. Just last week, I have a doc at work that I call email draft. What I do with that doc is this: I do the first draft, especially if that email is going to a large number of people, or that email is going to like a very senior partner. I have an email draft. At least one colleague will help me have a look at that email. I don't just send it out. It's just my own way of putting controls in place. So just last week, I still did it where I did an email draft and I called in one of my directors to please help me have a look at it, remove some things, add some things, and he did. I do that every single time. These are my two criteria. If it's going to like a very senior boss, or number two, if it's going to a very large group of people, I know I'm very experienced, right? I know what I'm doing. Why wouldn't I be able to send an email to a large group of people? But you'll be shocked that someone else's ideas about reviewing that email draft could go a long way to helping you send, almost having like 100% record of no drama when it comes to your emails. So pay attention to that. You may want to also create an email draft, share with your boss to see if they agree, or if there's one or two things they would like to add. You see, to be a quick read, they will look at it, they will agree, or whatever the case may be, and then you can be on your way sending out those emails. I think that may have somewhat covered it, hopefully. If you enjoyed this video, I want you to make sure that you share, and you comment. Leave me some very lovely comments. And don't forget that I'm also here to support you better. I've got a community, the Career Mastery Orb, that can support you, give you ongoing support, especially for those in the first 10 years of their careers. You would have a nice time in the community. You will get access to me, and you will see how I relate with other people and I help them build transformation into their careers and personal brand. Thank you very much for sticking with me to the very end. Remain fantastic.